Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Cinco de Mayo is May 5th, but the party starts early this year at Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina with their street festival on Saturday, May 3rd. Come down to 8th and Q starting at 1 p.m. on May 3rd and see llamas from Sweet and Sassy's Llama Farm until 4 p.m. and enjoy face painting and balloon animals with Miss Shades at 2 p.m. DJ Wyatt will entertain from 6 to 10:30 p.m. There will be drinks, food, and giveaways, and best of all, no cover charge. It's the early Cinco de Mayo Street Festival with Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina, Saturday, May 3rd, beginning at 1 p.m. at 8th and Q in the Haymarket.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Power Hour with two-time national champion Todd Uhlir. Powered by Window World of Lincoln and SetTheBarSups.com.
All right. What's up, Lincoln and beyond? It's go time. Welcome to another high-powered edition of the Power Hour here on 93.7 The Ticket with me, Todd Uhlir, and Jackson. What's up, brother?
What's going on?
Well, this isn't just another sports talk show. This is where we fuse sports, fitness, mindset, and personal development to help you dominate not just the scoreboard, but your life. Today's focus is goals. Not the kind you talk about, the kind you chase down with discipline, structure, and relentless energy, even when you're not motivated. I've got some energy today. I had a cranium before we came on. So.
That's the way to do it. You get focused.
Yeah, let's go.
Energy.
So we're going to break down the championship mindset behind achieving big goals, what separates talkers from doers, and how to build habits that don't fade by Monday. Whether you're chasing fat loss, financial freedom, or a better life for your family, today's show is the fuel you need to light that fire and keep it burning. So let's lock in and level up. This is the Power Hour. Let's go. All right.
Yeah.
And I told you, I'm amped for this one today.
That's good.
I love talking about goals. I don't know about you, Jackson. You're young. You're young.
I remember came back fired up.
Yeah, I went to Mexico last week. Got recharged, refueled. I gained 8 pounds. I was there. So, yeah.
That's the way. There's no proper way to do Mexico if you don't come back just a little bit.
It was an awesome experience. Coach Denny flew down from Ohio. We were there with 38 other business people. We had an insane, awesome time. I learned to play pickleball, bro.
I've never played pickleball.
Well, we're going to play. We're going to play because I will destroy you. No, I'm really bad.
Okay, but what's the difference? What's the difference between pickleball and tennis? Because I've never.
There's a lot. There's
a
lot.
Okay.
It is so much fun. So Coach Denny, you met Coach Denny out in Ohio. You know, he's the co-founder of the STB Locker Room and SetTheBarSups.com. But he's a pretty high level pickleball player, and he has been after me for more than 3 years to play pickleball. And I'm like, nope, I just don't get it. It doesn't look fun. You know, I watched some of the videos he put me in some free pickleball groups and stuff like that. And I'll see some highlights. And I was just like, no, man, that doesn't really. So we're down in Mexico. He brought a couple paddles. And I'm like, fine, I'll go play. And mind you, I need to have back surgery on June 9th. It's scheduled. my back is pretty messed up.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with some bursitis in my right hip because of how I'm having to make do with my back, right? So I'm in no shape to really be playing pickleball. But we get to the court, and there's this lovely 65-year-old couple from Colorado, Michael and Joy. And, we said, hey, you mind if we play with you here on the court? And they're like, oh, absolutely. And I said, I've never played. They were the sweetest, awesomest coaches to teach me pickleball. I'm so glad they taught me and Coach Denny wasn't teaching me. They were kind and took their time and, really explained it probably in more detail than I really needed, but it was awesome. So we played. I don't know. I mean, if anybody knows me, I'm like stupid competitive. Like I don't let my kids win at anything. If we're if we're playing thumb war, I'm coming after you. I will not lose, right? Like I hate losing. I do lose actually now that I'm getting older a little bit more than I like to, but I don't call it a loss. I call it an education, right?
Yeah, there you go.
You learn from the losses, but
Always learn.
we had an unbelievable. So we beat him the first, and Denny's holding back. He's being pretty nice, right? And we beat him the first one. They beat us the second one, and you go to 11, and there's only like it's different. It's like ping pong. You've played ping pong.
Yeah, I play ping pong. Yeah.
And and it's like ping pong meets tennis, like, but more
Okay.
fun. More fun than both. I mean, tennis, you're always chasing the ball around, right? Like,
Yeah.
and it's such a huge court and all that stuff. And this is so much fun, especially playing doubles. I played singles Wednesday night in Lincoln with a friend, and it was not as much fun playing single, especially as an injured old man. Trying to get all over the court on singles. I was like, nah, this is not working. And then my buddy who I met on the trip, Ronnie Romero, the owner of Schaefer's Appliance Center, was on this trip with us, and I met Ronnie and I are cut from the same cloth. If you guys in Lincoln know Ronnie or know Schaefer's, we like to we lifted together, we did all that. We had a great time. But Ronnie and I then played doubles against another fairly good couple, and we actually rotated partners, and that was a lot of fun. I played for 2.5 hours Wednesday night. I couldn't walk the next day because
It's gotta be a good workout though, right? Good cardio,
great, yeah,
I'd imagine.
yeah. So we played for about an hour and a half on Wednesday in Mexico, and so we beat them 2-1, and then I was like, let's do it again on Friday. So we went and played 2 hours on Friday with them, Friday morning in Mexico, and I got burnt the first day because I didn't like, it was smoking hot in Mexico. It was so hot, and there's like no way I was wearing a shirt during pickleball, but I wore a white shirt on Friday because I was fried. But so much fun. But yeah, so it was a great trip, but I've come back pretty inspired. I've got to get this bursitis worked out of my hip if I'm going to play any more pickleball. The back's fine. As long as I don't go for like low shots or I jumped a couple times on this Wednesday night, and that did not feel good on the back. But anybody can play it. It's fun. We're definitely going to have to get you on the court, Jackson, and we'll go play when I'm in Lincoln next time. So
There we go.
but yeah, let's talk about the power of setting goals with purpose. All right. So why do most goals fail? I think we all we all lay there and go, man, I wish this, right? I wish that. I wish I had more money. I wish I had, a better relationship. I wish I had a better job, right? Things like that. And that's why most goals fail. They're vague, they're emotional, they're built on hype, right? So like every January people say, I want to get in shape, right? Or
Every
I'm
time.
gonna lose weight, right? But by February, most of those resolutions are toast. Why? Because there's no clear why behind it, right? No plan and no scorecard. Like that's like saying I want to win a championship without ever practicing. All right. So I know from my pickleball experience, and I told Denny, I said, I don't want to do it because I know the second I do it, if I like it, I'm going to be all in and going to want to play all the time and get really competitive with it. And I do. So now it's going to be structuring out, how do I fit pickleball practice and pickleball games into my schedule? Right. So, I'm going to get focused a little bit on that. Obviously got to have the surgery, so won't be playing after June, but I'm going to play as much as I can before I have to have that surgery. So, so having clear cut, non-vague, we'll call them SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, um, and a time put on them, right? So SMART goals. And then, realizing that there's a difference between outcome goals and process goals, right? So, let's say Nebraska football, Matt Rule gets hired and he comes in and he doesn't just say, let's win the Big Ten, right? He sits down and he builds daily systems around their film study, their nutrition, their workouts, their practice, right? The outcome is the win, right? But the process is how they get there, right? So same with life, like lose 20 pounds is the outcome, but actually the process goal of let's track your protein, let's hit your workouts, let's get our sleep in our recovery, right? Let's take the right supplements or in that kind of thing. So that is a huge difference, just knowing like, okay, so if the goal is this, what processes do I need to do every single day? And I call them non-negotiables in my coaching. It's just non-negotiable. I'm going to do 20 minutes every single day, right? It's non-negotiable. So, I like to think of one of my goals, that probably one of the first goals I ever set, Jackson. And
Okay.
I've talked about this before. I can remember saying at a very young age, I was 5 or 6, that I was going to play running back at the University of Nebraska. I was going to be a Husker. It's one of
Hey.
the first goals I can ever remember setting in my life. And, you know, I didn't know how. I didn't, I just knew I wanted to do it. And I wanted to do it very passionately. I told everybody, and I would tell people, don't tell people your goals unless they're going to be supportive of it, right? And most people aren't supportive of like if your goals, if you tell your friends your goals and they're like, yeah, cool, I can see you doing that, it's not a big enough goal. It's just not.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Well, your goal should absolutely scare your friends and family. Be like, what in the heck is this guy thinking? Like, there's no way he can do that. Yeah, that's exactly what fueled me from a young age when people told me there's no way you'll ever play football in Nebraska. And I've used
Mm.
that one lesson to be able to really create a life that is by design now instead of by default, right? And I can say I failed miserably. Like I had a child at 20 years old that was not in the plan, right? I went back to default, went to the family business, doing things I didn't want to be doing every day. I was living by default because I had, this lesson given to me, and it was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me. It slowed me down in the partying. I mean, back in the 90s at Nebraska, man, we were rock stars. It was
Yeah.
crazy time, right? We didn't have social media, people videoing us in the bars or in all the fights that we got. There's a lot. So,
Oh man.
we didn't have all that stuff. So having my first daughter, Taylor, was probably the only reason I'm still alive at 50 years old. So God had a plan, and it wasn't my plan, but it worked out very well. So, but that's what. So as I got older, and people kept telling me I was crazy, I just decided, hey, I need to go find the people. I went to my high school football coach who had sent a lot of kids to play football at Nebraska, and said, how do I get there? Okay, you need to do this, this, and this, and this, and I did it. And there's a
Hmm.
lot of times I was in the gym by myself. There was a lot of mornings I was up early because I knew everybody else was sleeping, right? I am not the most gifted athlete on the planet. I promise you that. Like I was not like just come out of the womb, dunking a basketball or anything like that. It was all sweat equity to get to where I got. And so that one goal of playing football at Nebraska, playing running back at Nebraska, fueled me for basically 12 years, right? So, and what I would do is I would write it down every day. I play, I'm a running back at the University of Nebraska. I'm a Husker, right? I'm a Husker running back, something like that. So write down 3 goals every morning. Get up and do that, because I still do it to this day. I still every morning wake up, write down 3 goals. I write down 3 things I'm grateful for, right away, just to put it out into the world. This is what I'm after right now. And most people wake up with, 2 minutes to get in the shower and get to work. And Jackson, do you ever feel like that?
I mean, yeah,
Right.
definitely for sure.
Yeah.
That definitely happens.
So it happens, right? And I did that for years. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I did it for years. I would roll out of bed. I got really engrossed into golf once I left football, and I would literally get up early and meet the golf pro at the gate when he opened the gate to the golf course, so I could practice for an hour and a half every morning before I had to go to work.
Hmm.
Because and I wouldn't get up any earlier than I had to before I had that goal of getting better at golf, right? Or being able to compete at a high level in golf. Well, I wouldn't say a high level. All right. So I competed at the state amateur level. And I don't know if you even call it competing. I think every single one that I ever attempted, except for the last one, the first 4 state amateur stroke plays, I got either last or second to last. So in those tournaments, and then the last one that I played in, I missed the cut by 1 stroke with 2-3 putts that day to miss the cut. So, but that was the goal, and I was able. That fueled me to get up early and go practice when nothing else. Like normally, I would wake up, take a 5-minute shower, and be at work. 10 minutes later. I wasn't doing anything. And so we have a program inside the STB locker room called the Metabolic Morning Matrix. Insane way to begin your day. It just fuels everything. If you can't tell, like I do it every single morning. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, but it's what keeps me focused. It's like running a game plan, right? Instead of
Yeah.
absolutely winging it, right? Like most people are living life on default, even though every single one of us has the opportunity to design it. Now, you had to be at work today, right?
Yes.
Obviously. So,
Yes.
and you need to do that. Why do you need to work? Because you need to pay bills, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's something that you have to do. And I wouldn't say that's by default. That's, hey, I got to do that. But we all have 24 hours in the day. And I don't know if trying to think of the guy's name, but the concept of time for most people is we have 24 hours a day. I don't look at it like that. Ed Milet breaks it down really good. He basically lives, he goes through 3 days per day. The concept of 24 hours a day was before the internet, before any of that. you know, like I'm sitting in my office streaming with you guys right now, right? That wasn't feasible when the concept of 24 hours was created. Okay, so we have the internet. We used to have to, I didn't, but people had, like, if you wanted to communicate across the country, you had to send a letter via horseback, and you never knew if it was going to get there or not. And now we have, with the touch of a button, there's an email sent across the world, right? If you need to. So the concept of time, most people still are living in the 24-hour time zone, where, really my day starts at 6 a.m. or starts at 5 a.m. really. So 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. is my first day. Those hours,
Hmm.
that's the first day of the day. And then from 11, to 5, the next 6 hours is the next day, right? And then from 5 to 11 is the last day. And then so you can have 3 days per day, 7 days a week. You really have 21 days versus everybody else's 7. And if you really look at being productive inside of those blocks of days, I'd say it's time management, right? But I love the way Ed Milet puts it. If you really look at each one of those as a day, and you need to be as productive in those 6 hours as you would be in a full 24 hours, which is very possible now with the internet, with all
Yeah.
the stuff that we can do. Okay. You literally will be so far ahead in 60, 90 days to, in a year, you've tripled, you've done 3 years. Like, it's how you speed up the process, right? We talk about process goals. So it's how you speed up the process is by being really precise and having that game plan with your time. So I think that's one thing that a lot of people, how does an Oprah Winfrey or a Bill Gates get where they got? They seemingly had more time than us, but the only thing that they were more productive with the time they had, right? Because we all do have the same amount of time per day. Nobody has more, nobody has less.
True.
We all have the same time. It's how you look at it and how you decide to be productive with it, right? If you like and I get hooked on Netflix things. I get, You came out, the 5th season of You came out. I might have binge watched it, right? So I still do some of those things. But that time was super unproductive, right? And it was on one of the days that I said, hey, this is a break day, right? Like, I'm just not going to do anything work related. You need to have those free days, right? And I got it watched. But so that's the biggest thing when we're really talking about, setting goals and having goals with purpose, right? So if they don't, a lot of people, you need to sit down and self-reflect, take that time. What do you really want out of life, right? What do you really want to accomplish? I always hear people talk about the bucket list, right? I don't like to call it my bucket. Like, these are things you need to do before you kick the bucket, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's why it's called a bucket list, right? I just call it a to-do list, right? These are the things that I want to do, and not before I die, but because before I can't, right? Because at 50, known Jackson's only 20, right? At
Oh, yeah.
50, the perspective changes quite a bit. At 20, you think you're going to live forever, right? At 50, you're going, all right, there's some, there's some real possibilities. I mean, I have friends my college roommate just messaged me. He's like, hey, so-and-so just passed away. That's his second roommate that has died in the last, couple months. I mean, those guys are my age. And then he, being my college roommate, he says, things come in 3, you're next. Dum, dum, dum. Like, that was a text I got from him. Yeah, that's just how he is. So love him. But yeah, so you need to stay focused. You need to have a big enough why, right? I think when your why is big enough, that you can overcome just about anything, right? There's so many stories of millionaires, of people that were homeless, or, freak athletes that grew up with nothing because it was the only way they had out, and their why was super big, and they would, be on the courts instead of at school or doing things like that in order to accomplish some really crazy things. So,
Oh, yeah.
with that, we're going to go to break number 1 here. When we come back, we're going to talk about discipline over motivation, the unsexy secret to winning. So I want to shout out to our sponsor, Window World of Lincoln, the local team helping protect your home with energy efficient, high performance windows, doors, siding, roofing, and more. Just like your habits protect your life, Window World protects your house. Affordable, durable, and locally owned. They're the MVP when it comes to home upgrades. Visit windowworldlincoln.com and tell them the Power Hour sent you. We'll be back right after this.
Why wait for fall? Deer season is here now at Landmark Implement. Through June 2nd, get up to $3,000 off select John Deere compact utility tractors or Gator XUVs, or choose 0% APR financing on the hard-working 4044M, 2 Series, 3D, and 3E compact utility tractors or full-size Gator models. There's never been a better time to get behind the wheel of a Deere. Hurry into Landmark Implement today and take advantage of these offers and experience the Landmark difference.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today. Cinco de Mayo is May 5th, but the party starts early this year at Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina with their street festival on Saturday, May 3rd. Come down to 8th and Q starting at 1 p.m. on May 3rd and see llamas from Sweet and Sassy's Llama Farm until 4 p.m. and enjoy face painting and balloon animals with Miss Shades at 2 p.m. DJ Wyatt will entertain from 6 to 10:30 p.m. There will be drinks, food, and giveaways, and best of all, no cover charge. It's the early Cinco de Mayo Street Festival with Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina, Saturday, May 3rd, beginning at 1 p.m. at 8th and Q in the Haymarket.
Lincoln's new craft cocktail lounge is Bar 48 in Lincoln. Located at 2639 North 48th Street, Bar 48 offers everything from cocktails to beer to wine and so much more. With summer right around the corner, you can always enjoy Bar 48's frozen beverages. Follow them on Facebook to stay up to date on their live music performances every Saturday night. Make plans to visit Bar 48 on North 48th Street in the heart of the University Place neighborhood today.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with Taco Night on Mondays or Whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
The end of the school year is drawing near, which means graduation parties are coming soon. Are you prepared for hosting? Führer's Cheese Spread is the dip that brings everyone together to celebrate graduations and the close to a great school year. And it goes well with crackers, meats, soups, and more. How could you consider throwing a party without it? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's Cheese Spread. No graduation party is complete without it. This is it, Husker fans, your final chance to see Nebraska baseball at home this season. It starts Tuesday, May 6th with a huge rivalry matchup against Creighton. Then it's a Big Ten showdown as the Huskers host Michigan May 9th through 11th. Every game matters, and your support can make the difference. Great seats are still available, but they're going fast. Get your tickets today at huskers.com/tickets or by calling 1-800-8-BIG-RED.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Bagels and Joe is the best place to start off your mornings, and you can order your breakfast ahead of time on their app. You can't go wrong with one of their great bagel sandwiches or breakfast burritos. Stop by any of their 4 locations in Lincoln and their location in Seward. Bagels and Joe.
Back to the Power Hour with Todd Uhlir on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, we're back here for segment 2 of the Power Hour. I'm your host, Todd Uhlir. I'm here with Jackson Kleinschmidt. What's up, buddy?
There we go.
First segment came in hot, came in heavy, gonna kind of hit you between the eyes, right? Like, what are your goals? What is the purpose? If there's no purpose behind it, forget it. It's not going to happen. And so now that you've got goals set, we're going to talk about the unsexy secret to winning. All right. Discipline over motivation. Everybody gets motivated, and it comes at different times. But I think it was said once, motivation is like bathing. You need to do it like you got to do it daily. Like, it doesn't, if you don't do it daily, it just fades, right? And you get stinky and all that good stuff if you don't shower every day, right? So motivation is fleeting, but discipline will create freedom. All right. So, for instance, ever notice, like, you have a weekend and you're like, man, I need to get back to the gym on Monday. I will say I had a week like that. I was in the gym every single day on vacation in Mexico. But, I was like, all right, I got to lock in on my nutrition, when I get back. So I didn't get back to my house until about 2 a.m. Sunday. And I was like, all right, I got to lock in. Right. So, but it's really easy when you like, oh man, I got to get back to, it's really easy on Monday, to be like, all right, going to the gym. I mean, that's why you ever go to the gym on a Monday? It's packed.
Yeah.
You ever go on a Friday? You're like the only person in there. Okay. I know because I go every single day. So it starts out lots of people, a little less on Tuesday, a little less on Wednesday, a little less on Thursday, a little less on, it just fades, right? Because everybody's relying on motivation over discipline. And inside the STB locker room, we talk about creating non-negotiables. All right. The guys that win long-term are the ones who show up, especially when they don't feel like it. All right. Because motivation is fading. Like, it fades. So, and then when you kind of look at elite athletes, like how can you mirror, like, I am not an elite athlete. I played at a high level football for a while, but to be real honest, I'm not an elite level athlete. So a lot of people are like, why should I even think about that? Because it relates to everything else in life, to your business, to your family, to your faith, to your fun, right? So elite athletes are successful, and like the most successful guys I know, females I know, they have one thing in common. One thing, they have structured systems of processes that they go through every single day. And everybody's is different. What I need to do versus what Jackson needs to do every single day is going to be different, right? Like, when I was Jackson's age, I would go hit the gym for 2.5 hours, like, no problem. That isn't happening right now. Like, there's no way. I literally, like, I have found for me personally, is the older I got, the less I do, the better results, to be real honest. Because at some point, there's a diminishing return of value from training. And I didn't realize any of that when I was your age, Jackson. I mean, I would just go crush myself and be like, yep, I'm going to get bigger and stronger, right? The older I got, the more I train guys, it's like, okay, at 45 minutes, you're actually doing more harm than good if you go past that. So
Yeah.
you'll see like my workouts when I post them are about an hour to an hour 20 minutes, but I've got 15-minute warm up. I've got a 10-15-minute cool down because my body needs it. All right.
It's
When I
always
was
good.
when I was Jackson's age, I'd walk into the gym and what warm up? Nope, I'm going right to the machines and I'm going to start bench pressing. I'm going to start squatting. I'm going to go till I can't walk anymore. Or can't feel my arms or something like that, which and then I'd leave. Now, now I'm like, man, I got to take care of my shoulders. I got to take care of my knees. I got to take care of my mobility, right? And so that's typically I was 45 minutes. So a structured system, and a lot of guys don't understand that. They just go work out, and it's, hey, we're going to throw this against the wall today and see what sticks, and maybe something does, and maybe something doesn't. And I would say it's a huge waste of your time. It's like getting in your car and saying, hey, I'm going to go to California, but I'm not going to use the GPS. I'm going to figure it out, right? Along the way.
Yeah.
I'm not going to use I just know California is west, and I'm going to head west, and I'm going to try to find San Diego. I got a good buddy lives in San Diego. I'm just going to get in my car, and I'm going to see if I can show up at my good buddy's house in San Diego without a GPS, without a map, without calling anybody. How long do you think it would take me to find his house?
Gosh.
Probably never would, because I don't even know his address, right? I would have to call
Yeah, there
him
you
to
go.
get his address, right? But I've been there. I could probably eventually find it, but it's going to take me weeks, right? Whereas if I just plug it into my GPS, it's going to give me what? The shortest route, right?
Yep.
And it's going to let me know what, roadblocks are ahead. Hey, you need to, there's traffic up here. There's an alternate route, right? So that's a structured system that helps you get from one place to another. It's no different with your fitness. It's no different with your finances. Like having a structured system that you follow. I think, who's one of the big money guys? Can't think of his name right now. I can see his face. But having a structured system for saving, for that kind of thing in your finances, right? Or just hiring your own financial planner, right? So I always like to go back to when Kobe Bryant was on the Olympic team. Okay, we'll talk sports, right? He would literally get up and be in the gym at 4 a.m. on the Olympic team. This guy's already one of the greatest players to play the game, and he's in the gym at 4 a.m. drenched in sweat when all the others were just waking up. I mean, that's the difference. Not talent, discipline. Kobe probably isn't the most talented player to ever play in the NBA. I still think Michael Jordan is, but
Fair.
you won't
Fair.
convince me otherwise. But he's probably one of the most disciplined. And where did he learn that discipline? From Michael Jordan's trainer, right? I got his book right here somewhere. I had it. Yeah, Relentless. Tim S. Grover. Train Michael Jordan, train Kobe Bryant. Those guys had incredible discipline to play at the level they play at. So if you want to play at a higher level than where you're currently at, and I'm not saying you're going from zero to hero in 6 weeks. I'm saying, like, I am constantly chasing down a better version of myself. What's his name? He's an actor. I just listened to his book. Matthew McConaughey. He's like,
Oh yeah.
Green Lights. Have you read his book,
I
Green Lights?
haven't read it, but I've talked about it on another show with Bruinson. So yeah.
Green Lights, great shit. But Matthew McConaughey says, be the hero of your own life. And what's that hero look like? Well, it's 2 years from now, right? It's 2 years from now. And I'm never going to catch him because I'm always chasing that version of myself I can be 2 years from now, right? And that version should always be leveling you up. So you're constantly leveling up. And I love that analogy from Matthew McConaughey. There's lots of times. So today was 1,995 days in a row that I've done at least a 20-minute dedicated, thing for my fitness. I don't know too many other people that have ever done it that many. I know there's people over 1,000. I have guys in my group that are at 800, stuff like that. And I don't say that to be like, to think that I'm special. I'm not. I'm just more disciplined. I've just showed up more days in a row than a lot of people ever will. But there's so many times when I get up, I'm like, man, I don't necessarily want to do this today. But you get to that point when you build the discipline muscle, because it is a muscle. Discipline is a muscle, in my opinion. You just can't see it, right? When you build it, and I just start asking myself questions like, what would a leader do? Like, I can't ever ask somebody to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. And so, I got to ask that question. What would a true leader do? Well, so I get up, I crush the workout, and then you always feel better after that workout. Always, right?
Oh,
So discipline also builds that identity, right? I'm the guy who shows up, period. People know it. Like, when I tell you something, most people understand that's what's going to happen, right? I can't ever think of, in this whole streak, it's just made me a better person. And not just with my fitness, not just how I show up with energy, that kind of stuff, but my commitments. I will not commit to something that doesn't get done, right? And it's made me better over the course of the 1,995 days, 285 weeks, man. It's a lot. Like, most people can't get to 285 days. I remember when I hit my first 50 weeks, I'm like, man, most people won't even do 50 days. I just did 50 weeks. Now I'm at
yeah, that's
285
crazy.
weeks. But yeah, so discipline's going to build that confidence, right? It's going to build that identity. And that's what we do inside the STB locker room. We have an accountability tracker. We have structured programming for each person, and that's what I love about being a coach, is being able to set guys up for success on a daily basis, right? We keep score. We have a scorecard, right? Like, do you want to win or do you not want to win? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just competitive. Like, I want to score these points every single day, and you're going to have to, at this point, you're going to have to kill me to not get my 20 minutes in. You're literally going to have to kill me. As bad as my back is right now, my doctor is still in shock and awe that I put my surgery off 2.5 months. I'm like, I can't do it till June. My son was in spring ball, and we can talk a little bit about spring ball's over, but I wasn't on here last week. They had the Husker games, and we can kind of talk a little bit about that. But I said, hey, my son's in spring ball. I don't want to do it while he's in spring ball. My daughter graduates May 17th. I don't want to do it before that. I don't want to be like that guy at graduation that they got to worry about. And then Amon Green and Amir Abdullah are doing a running back camp on June 7th. And
Yeah.
I've been blessed to be able to, go out and be a part of that. And I'm like, I'm not going to miss that. So my surgery is scheduled for June 9th. And my doctor, when we scheduled this back in March, was like, are you crazy? Like, most guys want this surgery done 2 weeks ago. They don't want to wait 2.5, months to get it done. And I said, hey, it's just, that's where I'm at. Like, I'm committed to these things, and this is how it's going to have to be. And so I would love to have the surgery 2 weeks ago, but
Yeah.
I had a trip to Mexico planned. I had all these things, like, you just got to deal with it. And it's by having the discipline that I've had, it's like, all right, this is how I'm going to get through my days with this pain. Right. So I think that's a big challenge most guys have, is, with not having the confidence because they haven't created the discipline in your life. And it's something you create. It's something you can build. And it starts with one time a day. Like, just pick one thing out and do it. So let's go to another break, and then we'll finish with the last segment. Another shout out to one of today's sponsors, setthebarsups.com, our go-to for premium, no BS supplements that fuel your workouts and your recovery. Whether you need energy, focus, or muscle repair, Set the Bar Sups delivers formulas that are clean, tested, and trusted. You can use the code POWERHOUR for a little love at checkout. It'll get you a little discount. Again, that's setthebarsups.com. Use POWERHOUR. And because when you fuel better, you're going to perform better. And we got some new stuff on there that I literally just put on yesterday. We're officially launching it tomorrow. We're super excited about a couple new products we got on there. So if you go there, you're going to be able to see them first. Nobody else even knows they're there yet. So, but we will be launching those tomorrow with our VIPs, and then on Monday, kind of roll out to the world. So we're excited about that. So when we come back, we're going to finish strong with habit stacking and winning the week. So come back here on 93.7 The Ticket with the Power Hour. We'll be right back.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and they're having the biggest hail sale they've ever had. A huge opportunity is at your front door right now. Some of these cars we're fixing, some we're not, and some it's totally up to you. New Sierra starting at $15,000 off list. New Canyons at $8,500 off list. New body styles on the Acadias, $3,000 off list. You need to hurry as there's going to be a lot of people heading to Louisville. Check us out at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G121492, G1877747, and G1965999.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Right now, when you drive by Honda of Lincoln, you'll see more than 200 new Hondas and over 125 pre-owned vehicles. Hi, Charlie Stone here, and with me on the line is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, how does it feel to have so many vehicles in stock again for your customers?
Charlie, it feels amazing to see how excited our customers are. They love the ability to see, test drive, and take immediate delivery of the exact new Honda they're looking for.
Do you have some good offers to talk about?
We sure do, Charlie. We're offering financing as low as 0.9% APR up to 72 months, or great lease rates on every new Honda. It's the perfect time to drive away in the new Honda you've been dreaming of.
How about pre-owned, Andy?
We have over 125 pre-owned and certified pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Just about every make and model with prices starting at under $10,000.
Maybe it's time you experience the best, the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
What's it take to be a mentor with big brothers, big sisters? It takes 30 minutes and a cup of coffee. A video game, that's 2 out of 3. It takes sharing thumbs up emojis, clapping emojis, and loaded nachos at halftime. That's how you make an impact on a young kid's life. So go on, share a few hours a month, because mentorship may sound huge, but the truth is, it takes little to be big. To learn more, volunteer, or donate, go to BeBigNow.org.
Psst. You know what's better than waking up early to go to the airport? Sleeping in. Lucky for you, the lines at the Lincoln Airport are so short and our service is so fast. You won't need to sacrifice precious beauty sleep to get here hours before your flight. So, go ahead, sleep in. You deserve it, and choose the airport that helps you relax. LNK. Make flying easy.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
National Electrical Safety Month is held every May to raise awareness about the importance of staying safe around electricity. Visit les.com/safety for safety tips on power lines, tree trimming, storms, and so much more.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Back to the Power Hour with Todd Uhlir on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, we're back with our last segment here on the Power Hour. I'm your host, Todd Uhlir, here with Jackson Kleinschmidt. So the first segment, we talked about goals, having purpose, that kind of thing. The second segment, we talked about motivation versus discipline. And now we're going to talk about habit stacking and winning the week. All right. So when it all boils down to it, you are your habits. So if you have the habit of sleeping in and not, waking up right just in enough time to get to work, and sometimes not on time and things like that, unless you change that habit, which takes time, you become that habit, right? You become the guy that's late. I'm not late to anything because I'm up early. I have it scheduled out, and that's just a habit that I've created over the course of the last, I can't tell you, we did Coach Osborne, Coach Solich, they were, man, if you're 5 minutes early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late, right? And I've been blessed to have a lot of people in my life that really made me show up at a high level. And that was because of them giving me these principles that I'm sharing with you guys, right? So your habits become your autopilot, right? There's so many processes that your brain goes through in a day that you create habits so that it's just on autopilot, right? So I like to, if we want to change a habit, I like to anchor habits. Okay. So in order to start a new habit, you've got to kind of anchor it with something else you do, right? I remember when I first got into meditation, I would do it whenever I could fit it in. I wasn't really consistent with it. Now I wake up, I use the restroom, I weigh in, and I do my meditation. I wake up every day, and I weigh in every day. And so I'm like, I'm just going to add this 5-minute meditation into my process, right? So now it's done every single day, just like the workout follows that. So anchoring it, it could be as simple as, hey, every time I brush my teeth, I'm going to do, 20 body weight squats right after, right? Or for you coffee drinkers, if you got to brew it, and I know all the new coffee makers don't take that long to brew anymore. You can just press a button and it spits out the little cups. But, you're going to write down 3 goals or journal 3 things you're grateful for. So habit anchoring, right? And stacking those habits on top of things that you already do. All right. And then really focusing on small wins, not perfection. I always like to say, we want to hit singles every single day. We'll go back to sports, right? We want to hit singles. So many guys get up and try to hit the home run. They want to go work out for 2 hours because they think that's going to be the salvation, right? So we're hitting singles every single day. And if you hit a single every day, right, it takes 3 days to get guys on first, second, and third. And then every day after that, you're scoring a run. You're winning. Okay. and they can't get you out because you're hitting a single every single day. So focus on that. Don't try to overhaul your life in a day, which I spent 20 years trying to figure out. You're better off just like walking 10 minutes a day for 30 days than trying to run 5 miles once and quitting, right? So small wins stack into big wins. So the 295 weeks, the 1,995 days, I'm in pretty darn good shape. Like
Oh
it's
yeah.
stacked, right? And the cool thing is like I'm fairly proficient at a lot of different things because in those I've changed. Like there's months where I'll do pull-ups as part of that. I'll do push-ups. I remember I can't remember which home game it was, but the U.S. Navy was outside of Memorial Stadium doing a chin-up contest,
Oh yeah, I remember
and my daughter's like, Dad, you got to go do that. My 29-year-old daughter's like, Dad, you got to go do that, because she knows, like, and so I jumped over there and did 25 pull-ups. And the guys were just all like, the next closest was like 16, like,
Yeah.
and they were like, that was some, you know, students that did that, not this 50-year-old grandpa doing it. So, fairly I wouldn't say I'm great at any one thing, but I'm fairly proficient at a lot, right? So, and I like the compounding power of consistency, right? Over 30, 60, 90 days. For instance, Tom, one of our clients, right? He came in on a 28-day plan. He's still with us almost 4 years. Well, I think it is 4 years now. He's been with us. He's been with us for 4 years, but inside of that, so that 28 days got him started. And then he signed on and he kept going and he kept going. He was down 50 pounds, not by being perfect, but by being consistent. He'd hit his protein goal. He'd do his workouts. He didn't panic when life threw him curveballs, right? That's compounding in action. So what I want to do before we end this awesome power hour is just challenge everybody out there. I think the other thing too is that we try to accomplish so much at once. So I really want to challenge you guys to pick one habit and lock in on that one thing. Okay. And then you can report back. You can follow me on Facebook or Instagram at Todd Uhlir. You can follow us. You can follow our STB locker room page, that kind of thing. And then report back. Like, pick one small habit this week and go 7 for 7. Right. We can start this tomorrow. Tomorrow it'd be perfect time. Start of the week. I know it's not the start of the work week. Pick one thing and go 7 for 7 on it. It doesn't have to be crazy. It just has to get done. Track your protein, right? Walk for 10 minutes, right? Don't hit the snooze button this week, right? And then post it and tag 937 the ticket. We'd love to see it. And let's start building some wins this week and start building that discipline muscle. All right. So that's really where it all starts. I think a lot of people are like, I'm going to change my fitness. I'm going to change my nutrition. I'm going to change my mindset. I'm going to start with one thing. And I will even say that one thing every 13 weeks. Okay. And why? Because that's 4 things a year. Most people don't change anything a year. They end up 5 years down the road and they're like, man, my life is exactly the same as it was 5 years ago. If you pick one thing and stick with it for 13 weeks, and then add another one after 13 weeks, you'll have 4 new habits. And after 5 years, you'll have 20 new habits that you're designing your life instead of living by default. Because currently most people their habits, that's your default. I have default habits as well. Mine just happen to be a little different than most people's, right? So I challenge everybody out there listening, pick one thing, stick with it for at least 7 days, and then you can add another one. But 7 days really is the start of it. I like to go 13 weeks. That was how this whole 20-minute thing started. Is I committed to a year. I said, I'm going to do this every single day for 1 year. And then I'll see if I'm going to keep going after a year. When I got to day 365, it was like, there's no reason to stop now. I feel great when I do it. Lots of times I didn't. There was times I was doing this at 11:30 at night to get my 20 minutes in. But so hopefully we brought some value to you guys this Saturday. Hopefully you have a great weekend. So that's a wrap on the Power Hour. But remember, the real game starts after the show, right? Motivation is the spark, but discipline is the engine. Set your goals, show up daily, and build the habits that put you in a position to win on the field, in your fitness, and in your life. Huge shout out to our sponsors, Window World Lincoln and SetTheBarSups.com. Go check them out and show them some love. And we'll see you next Saturday. But until then, stay strong, stay focused, and above all, set the bar. Let's go. God bless. Much love. Peace out.